Hi, and welcome along to a game of two halves. It's been a dramatic weekend in the Premier League. Some crazy games. Well, one crazy game in particular, Mark. Liverpool losing at home to Manchester City in the craziest fashion. It had so many implications because had that result of stayed 1-0, which is looking like it was doing until Alisson decided to do a madness, right? Then it would have meant that Arsenal would have moved 9 points clear, but it would also have been significant for Liverpool because they would have closed the gap on Manchester United and on Chelsea in that race of top 4 or 5. And it would have, as I said, would have been very damaging for Manchester City. You heard Bernardo Silva saying after the game, they felt that if they'd have gone 9 points off the title race, they would have think it would have been over. However, dramatic injury time penalty, which Erling Haaland converted. They win the game 2-1, and everything changed all over that top of the league. What did you make of it?
I think it's been a crazy weekend for the Premier League. I mean, look, I didn't think Everton would win at Fulham. I didn't think Brentford would win at Newcastle. Maybe Man City winning at Liverpool is a little bit more likely, but I didn't think Man City would go there and win there. And I think even City fans will look at that and go, all right, they've won it, but you look at the Ekitike miss. I mean, maybe Gahey should have been sent off as well. I mean, I thought it was borderline. I said a yellow, but I think Liverpool, it's indicative of Liverpool's season. They're not very good. And fair play to Man City. They've got the points to keep the title race alive. But I was saying to you just before we hit the live there, when you went to Arsenal, when you went to Liverpool, Szoboszlai scored a worldie and it was enough to beat you. I thought the same thing was going to happen again, but Liverpool have conspired to inexplicably lose that game. I mean, Alisson doesn't need to be there on that penalty either. I mean, look, I genuinely don't think City were going to win that game without a little bit of help. They didn't look like they were going to create the chances in the second half. Liverpool created the better chances and they've won that. So amazing result for City and the title race, but it shouldn't have happened. So credit to them. Yeah.
Yeah, and an amazing result for your team, Man United, because obviously you guys got the win as well, winning 2-0 against so long ago now, Spurs, right? Winning 2-0 against Spurs. And now you're in a great position. And if we sort of segue slightly to your game, another moment of madness in that game by Christian Romero. We've seen a lot of this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've got no sympathy for Spurs. Obviously, it's a great 3 points for United. But I sort of compare it to when we played City. Delot should have had a red. He didn't get a red. We won the game. And then you see the impact of what a red card can do. I mean, if I was a Spurs fan, I would never pick Romero again. I don't care how good he is. Like, there's no need to do that. And it's a good game and they're playing well. And 11 against 11, who knows what's going to happen? And then half an hour in, sees the opportunity to crunch Casemiro. Everyone knows what he's doing. The ref gets it absolutely spot on. Nobody complains about it because everybody knows what he's done. That's disgusting. That's a disgusting tackle. He could have broken his ankle, and it killed the game for Spurs. You can't. Nobody can play for 10 men away from home for an hour, and it's cost them the result there. So madness, but it played into our hands, definitely.
Yeah, and with Chelsea winning as well, Cole Palmer, getting back to scoring ways. All right, 2 penalties, but you got to score them, and a nice finish. I mean, again, Chelsea on a winning streak as well. Manchester United on a winning streak. Really damaging for Liverpool. We just focus on Liverpool for a minute because 39 points they're on now. That's the same amount of points as Brentford.
Yeah.
Chelsea
they're a long way off us as well, aren't they?
Yeah, Chelsea 5th place on 43 and Man United on 44. They're now, 5 points behind Man United. Which, could you believe if someone told you that a month ago that you'd be 5 points clear of Liverpool? You wouldn't believe it, would you?
Well, if I'd said to you in the summer before, if we'd been sat here talking about who's going to win the league and you'd said, you know what? At the start of February, Liverpool will be 4 points off 5th and struggling to get in the Champions League after what they spent and being the title holders. It's incredible. This is why I think Slot's going to lose his job in the summer, because there's a drop off and there's a fall off, and they've been bad all season. And I'm not saying they should have sacked him in January like we did and like Maresca at Chelsea, but they're going to have to make a change. It's not excusable to be where they are, and they're bad. And like I say, they've still got to go to Villa, still got to go to Old Trafford, still got to go to Sunderland. There's a lot more points for Liverpool to drop. So no, it's not a false position, but you're right, it is an incredible position.
Jumping back to we're jumping all over the place there, but jumping back to the top, obviously on Saturday, Arsenal, they did what they had to do, 3-0 winners over Sunderland. And Victor Gyokeres, all of a sudden starting, over the last sort of, 5-6 games, starting to show his worth. 2 goals from him in the game and a comfortable win for Arsenal. And at that time, they were 9 points clear.
Yeah. No, I think I said this after watching the game myself. I said it's interesting because when you look at Arsenal, I mean, Zubimendi, what I think he's signing of the season. I mean, I just don't think he gets the credit. No one ever talks about him. He's a new signing.
Mark, you know what? I saw the video that you did where you was talking about Zubimendi. And I remember at the start of the season, I was on Sky. And I said that they said, they say hot takes, yeah. And I said, Zubimendi could win player of the season. And they all laughed at me. And he has been superb all season, consistently good. I mean, listen, he probably won't win player of the season, but he's definitely going to be up there. He's been excellent.
Yeah. And also with Gyokeres, look, we've had this chat so many times. I'm not saying that Madueke and Havertz are better than Odegaard and Saka, but they move the ball quicker. And Gyokeres, Haaland, whoever, you need quick ball. And when you're playing up front with Odegaard and Saka, they probe, slow. They've not played the last couple of games, and he's got 3 goals in 2 games. I know it's Leeds and it's Sunderland, but Leeds and Sunderland aren't half bad Premier League sides. So yeah. I think for him, look, Gyokeres is probably never going to be pretty on the eye, but if you give him chances, he will score goals. Yep,
and he's scoring those goals, and that could be really. I think when you look at Gyokeres, one of the reasons they brought him in were for those type of games, those tight games that last year we ended up drawing. He's getting the goals in. So, he's going to be a very important player for Arsenal in the running.
Yeah, 100%. And look, I still think Arsenal are going to win the league. That'll be a blow. I mean, even though they've had a good weekend, that'll be a blow because it's like you look at Liverpool and you think, how have you done that at Anfield? How have you let Man City win at Anfield? And it just will be a bit of a pain. But Arsenal's mentality has been very good. Brentford on Thursday, you just got to keep doing it, haven't they?
Yeah, well, you see, that's the thing. I do look on it like a blow, watching that game. I mean, before the game, after we beat Sunderland, I'm thinking, right, the pressure, serious pressure is on Manchester City now. To go away to Anfield, a place that they haven't won for a very long time. It's a difficult, I think Bernardo Silva said it after the game. Normally you go there, you get a point. That's a good result. So I was not expecting them to go there, as bad as Liverpool have been this season, but I didn't think that they would get a win there. I was thinking it could be a draw, but not a win. But the way Liverpool threw that game away, I was like, oh my God, right? And the title race is not over yet. Definitely. I think 6 points, when you think about it, they play during the week before Arsenal.
Well, don't they? Yeah.
So they could reduce that down to 3 points. And then all of a sudden the pressure's back on Arsenal again because, Arsenal going to Brentford is going to be, it's not going to be easy. And when we talk about Brentford, what a result for them, winning away at Newcastle. Eddie Howe, is he under serious pressure now?
I think he has to be. They're still in the Champions League. It's a little bit, it's a little bit like Spurs, isn't it? Should they sack Thomas Frank? They're doing terrible, but they're still in the Champions League. So I think Newcastle will think the same. The thing with Newcastle is they're rich, but they can't spend the money. And I think Eddie Howe has done a great job there. The question has to be, has he took them as far as he can? Maybe, but who comes in? And I think that when you go and have a look at that, then I don't know whether there is a definitive answer to that. So I don't know. I think Newcastle have to assess it at the end of the season, like Liverpool, really.
Losing a lot of games, though.
Yeah, and
they even started to lose.
Result. Neither of us went with that, did we?
Yeah, losing at home to Brentford. I mean, no disrespect to Brentford, but that they wouldn't have expected that. I mean, he's really got to start getting it together quick, hasn't he?
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, they're another team. They're not going to be in Europe next season, so that's another hurt to whatever they're trying to do for FFP as well. And they don't deserve to be. They're in the bottom half of the table with Spurs, which is where they deserve to be. And I think that's a credit to the Premier League this season. The Brentfords, the Evertons, the Fulhams, even Palace winning again, Bournemouth winning again. You get what you deserve in this league, and that's why Liverpool are where they are.
Yeah, we're getting on to that Bournemouth. It wasn't a win; it was a draw. But again, Aston Villa dropping more points again.
I actually think that's a good point for them. In hindsight now, they're 8 points ahead of Liverpool. Top 5 will get Champions League football. I think Villa will look at that result today, like Chelsea as well. That Man City win, such a weird one. When Bernardo Silva scored, I went, "Oh, get out!" And then I realised actually that's good for United. And I was like, "This is weird." I'm actually happy that City is scoring goals, but yeah, I think Villa, that point at Bournemouth, actually becomes not a bad point, even though, like, I agree with you. I thought, oh, it's more points dropped for Villa, but
they were sort of, when I say points dropped though, in trying to get into the title race, that did put them. They are 9 points behind Arsenal now.
I think Bournemouth were better than them as well.
Yeah, that's kind of gone for them, the league, I think. But they're looking over their shoulder at Manchester United and also looking over their shoulder at Chelsea. But like you said, even if they do get caught, surely it'll be Champions League. The way Liverpool are going,
would you put money on Liverpool closing an 8-point gap on anyone at the moment?
And I didn't realise they.
Yeah,
I didn't realise they had them difficult away games like going to Old Trafford and that, like what you just said. So no, I wouldn't. A team that's creeping up, Everton. What a result for them! 2 winners over Fulham. How they did it, I don't know. Fulham missed so many chances in that game. They should have been out of sight. They didn't bury the chances. And Everton, that's a great away win for them. 2-1 win at Fulham.
I just find this league really hard. Like we go to the Emirates and win. Then we play Fulham at home and we get a last-minute equaliser and they play really, really well. And then they play Everton at Craven Cottage and you think that's a nailed-on Fulham win. And then Everton go and win. And I'm like, this league, it's just, it's so, and look, we've already spoke about Brentford at Newcastle, and it's just so hard to predict. But look, credit to Everton. It's a very good result. But I looked at their starting 11 and I thought, I don't know how they're doing it. Like, I don't know how they are doing it. Tarkowski at the back, Pickford in goal, they've got a bloody Barry up front. I mean, it's great. It's great. But yeah. I don't know how they're doing it.
Yeah. Well, listen, we've been talking about what's happening at the top, but what about the bottom? As we know that Wolves, they're gone. They got beaten 3-1 at home by Chelsea. That was expected. But the other big clash was Burnley versus West Ham. Now, West Ham coming out 2-0 winners. West Ham on a bit of a charge at the moment. Very unfortunate not to get all 3 points last week as well, or at least a point at Chelsea. West Ham, they're on a little bit of a charge.
We got them on Tuesday as well. Yeah, I mean, look, that Fernandez in the midfield looks good. Somerville is doing really, really well. We know about Bowen and Wan-Bissaka. What I find incredible is that, I mean, just how bad Dyche is doing at Forest and how embarrassing it will be if Nuno goes past Forest and basically relegates them. So I think it's a fascinating... We've got a title race. I know you don't like it. We've got a Champions League race and we've got a relegation race. And people say it's the worst Premier League in a long time. And I do agree the quality hasn't been great at times. But at least we have got things interesting. And I think West Ham are better than Forest at the moment. It's just whether they can get the points to catch them. Because once they catch them, I think that's going to get really interesting. I think Forest are playing Wolves midweek. So that might be 3 points in the bag. But West Ham are playing really well at the moment.
Yeah, and of course, Forest, they lost to Leeds on Friday night. That was a great result for Leeds. The other result was Palace in the derby. Well, sort of a derby, but... two teams that really don't like each other. They came out on top against Brighton. And that was a very good result. But when you look at the bottom now, I want to ask you this question, right? Because the bottom is Wolves, we know they're gone on 8 points.
Yeah.
Burnley, 15 points, they're gone.
Yeah.
But West Ham, 23 points. Forest, 26 points. Leeds and Spurs, 29 points. Could Tottenham be dragged into this relegation fight? Their next 2 games, Newcastle at home, but their home form hasn't been great. No Romero as well for 4 games now. Right, he's going to miss because that's his second red card.
Could be a good thing.
And then after that, they got Arsenal. I mean, if they were to lose those 2 games, and I was looking at some of the games they got left for the rest of the season, they got some difficult games coming up. Could Spurs be dragged into a relegation fight?
They played really well against us and they have got a lot of injuries for half an hour. And then Romero did that. But I think in this league, nobody's too good to go down. I mean, logically, I don't think Spurs will go down, but West Ham look good. Forest have got good players. So, like you say, if they can pick up some wins and pull Spurs into the relegation battle, you then start to panic a little bit. Look, it's probably a positive Romero's not playing because he's a liability. I don't think they'll go down, but I wouldn't be so arrogant to think you're too good to go down because...
As I said, Mark, the next 2 games in February, Newcastle at home, Arsenal at home. But then even when you look at their March, they've got to go away to Fulham. That's not easy.
No.
Palace at home, away at Liverpool, Anfield, and then they got Forest. And then even in April, they've got to go away to Sunderland. You know, I mean, they really got to start getting their act together.
I'll tell you what, I hope it doesn't happen, but if West Ham beat us on Tuesday and Forest beat Wolves on Wednesday and Spurs lose to Newcastle and Arsenal, you can see a scenario where they're in it.
Still before the end of the season, got to go away to Villa, away to Chelsea as well. I mean, they got to start getting some games together. I mean, we talk about it and we're saying, nah, they can't go down. They finished 17th last year. I mean...
But this is what happens when someone like Sunderland does what they've done and the rest of the Premier League can't go, well, it's 3 up, 3 down. Someone's going down. And, well, Leeds as well, because Wolves are the Premier League club. Leeds and Sunderland have basically said, we're not going straight back down. So 2 of the status quo are going down and someone's going down, whether it's West Ham, Forest, Spurs, maybe still Leeds, but I think Leeds will stay up.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting end to the season, I'll tell you that. So this is looking at the table. It's Arsenal top on 56 points, 6 clear of Man City on 50, Villa in 3rd on 47, Man United now in 4th place, 44 points, just 3 points off Villa, right? Chelsea in 5th on 43, Liverpool now 6th place on 39 points, level with Brentford. At the bottom, West Ham 23 points, Burnley 15, Wolves on 8. Them 2 are gone. Who else is going to go with them? It's going to be really interesting to see. Let's get into our team of the week.
I'm just trying to find yours. Yeah.
Okay. I went with so you got to go Donnarumma in goal. I mean, he made some big saves, especially that save he made near the end in that game. I had him in goal.
I wrote mine down. Here we go. I would agree. I thought that save against Alexi McAllister will probably, I mean, I don't want to say this to you, but if they win the title, that will be remembered. As soon as he saved that, I thought that's just saved them. That's just got them 2 points. So yeah, I think Donnarumma has to have that.
Huge goal. All right, let's go back 4.
Yeah, I went with I think Gyokeres is a good shout. I'd done this pre the Liverpool game, to be fair. So I had Cucurella. I thought he had a good game, but it's Wolves. So I think Gyokeres deserves it. I've gone with Gabriel. I mean, I know it's boring, but I think he's just consistently brilliant. I did go with Maguire. I agreed with you on that one. I thought he had a good, steady game. I don't think there was a lot of brilliant centre-back performances this week. But at right-back, I mean, I don't have a problem with Timber because it's Timber. I think he's the best right-back in the league. But I also wanted to shout out Justin at Leeds. I thought he's been really, really good the last few weeks. And he did have a good game. He did have a good game.
Yeah, he did. You know, because sometimes he did get an assist. And sometimes because this is like their games kicked off so early before, on a Friday night before, we forget. He was very good. Actually, I'm going to put him in. I think that's a great shout. All right, so we've got Justin in there for Leeds. Midfield, I had Janelt of Brentford.
Good shout.
I thought he played really well. Zubimendi, of course, who scored a great goal and played really, really well in that Arsenal game. And Bruno.
I like you. I've got Bruno and Zubimendi. I completely agree. And I like the Janelt shout because I think he's massively not spoken about. Brilliant. I went with Fernandes at West Ham. But they're playing Burnley. Janelt's been to bloody St James's Park and played against Bruno G and co. So I think that's
there has to be some recognition of that. That was an incredible result. And then up front, you go with your up front. Who did you have up front?
We're nearly the same. I've got Gyokeres, I've got Palmer, and I went with Somerville because I think he's doing really well at the moment. I know you've gone with Sarr, big goal.
I went with Sarr just because it was 1-0. That was the match-winning goal, and that was a real, that game's a real derby game. So that's why I went with Sarr. But listen, we've got similar players. Yeah. As we always say every week, if you guys agree with us, let us know in the comments. If you don't agree, as you always don't, let us know as well. But it's been a crazy weekend. As it stands, Arsenal still winning the league as it stands, but it's a long way to go. And Man City,
Premier League weekend of the week. Yeah, I know it's
Man
not great
City
for you.
they put down a serious statement by getting that win over Liverpool. And what about Liverpool? I want to hear from you guys in the comments. What about Liverpool? Have they blown their chances of getting in the top 4, top 5? Is the Champions League chances gone for Liverpool? Really would love to hear from you. We're going to be back on Mark's channel earlier than usual because obviously there's games during the week. So make sure you join us over on Vats Football, where we're going to be taking a look at the games coming up midweek, some big games, especially after the weekend's results. Mark, thank you very much as usual. Pleasure. And see you over on your channel.
Thank you very much.